The hardware. When we talk about hardware, we're not talking about power tools, though the pieces of equipment we'll be covering will certainly allow you to complete the right jobs in the right way. Great mixology is about efficiency and knowledge, two things you can acquire through practice and reading. The latter we can help with. The former is on you. This section will cover all of your bar essentials and a couple of other things you might want to get a hold of that will let you mix cocktails that any mixologist would be proud of. Cocktail equipment. Shakers. The shaker is to a bar person what a badge is to a cop, a proud vestige of their trade. Something shiny to flaunt and spin while they smile at customers, something to throw and toss, shake and break. The single tool that will never leave their side. You'll be happy to know that they come in several different shapes and sizes, each with their own merits and drawbacks. The Boston. Now, the Boston is the stalwart of the commercial bar. Its classic metal-on-glass look is unmistakable. The can is most often made of stainless steel, but sometimes copper, and will usually outsize the glass, coming in at somewhere around the 800 milliliter or 28-ounce mark. This is the standard size for most and is likely what you'll receive should you buy one online or begin working in a bar. Its glass counterpart, note strengthened glass, don't try it with a regular glass, is smaller, around 450 milliliters or 16 ounces, and fits inside the can inverted, so that the openings fit together. One side of the glass sits flush against the metal and the other side is angled out. The drinks are strained either by the glass or can be used in conjunction or with the use of a strainer. Pros. A lot of bartenders like these shakers because you can be rough with them, as well as the ability to interchange glasses and cans. If you have to make 20 Cosmos for a hen party, which, trust me, you probably will, then you'll likely be filling up 10 glasses with a mixture and lining them up. Using the Boston can to seal, shake, break, and pour, and then being able to use the same can for the others can be a real time saver. That and the fact that they're fast. There's no finicky parts, and with some skill, they're much faster to seal and break than any other shaker. And lastly, the glass allows you to see the color and look of the drink. Some cocktails require specific consistencies, and the ability to be able to see a cross-section of the cocktail is sometimes imperative. Cons. Glass isn't as good a conductor as steel or copper, so it takes a little longer to cool the drinks than with an all-metal shaker. Also, some glasses can explode at times, either by being dropped with some serious roughness or if there's a sudden change in temperature, i.e. a glass comes out of a dishwasher and then immediately gets shaken with ice. I've seen it happen, though these things only tend to happen in bars with inexperienced bartenders. Because of these flimsy cons, the Boston is the most widely used shaker in the world. The Manhattan, 3-piece. The Manhattan shaker, or the 3-piece, is often what we get at Christmas for a gift. These shakers come in various sizes. Popular ones include 450 milliliter, 16-ounce, 600 milliliter, 21-ounce, 800 milliliter, 28-ounce, though larger and smaller sizes exist. The shaker is characterized by the can, the lid, and most famously the little hat that fits on top of the lid. Pro. These classic shakers are handy if you don't have a strainer on hand, as the lid will often have a built-in strainer, letting you save time searching around for one. As well as that, their all-metal construction allows for drinks to be cooled faster than with a Boston. Thirdly, you can fill, add ice to, seal, pick up, shake, and strain, and serve all with one hand. Sometimes you'll need to be stirring something with one hand, and being able to shake and strain with the other can be a real lifesaver. Con. You can't see what you're mixing. Also, the lid flies off a lot, and they can go under fridges and counters, and that's super annoying. Thirdly, the drink flies through the strainer and gets caught on the top. When you take it off, then, the cocktail is likely to run everywhere. The French, Parisian, 2-piece. The French, or Parisian shaker, is the third on our list and takes the ideals of the Manhattan and refines them. Coming in a 2-piece style, reminiscent of the Boston, the smaller top half fits inside the larger bottom half, though it doesn't seal on its own. Constant pressure is applied to keep the two halves together, but it makes breaking and straining straight from the can easier by holding the two pieces together and allowing the liquid to drain out. These usually come in 500 milliliter, 18-ounce varieties, but it's not uncommon to see larger or smaller ones. These strainers are often aesthetic pieces and look really nice to mix drinks with. These cans often come in brass, copper, or other varieties too. Pros. The two pieces fit together nicely. The all-metal construction allows drinks to cool more quickly than a Boston, and they look really good. Cons. You can't see the drinks, for one. Secondly, if you apply the wrong amount of pressure to the shaker's sides, the two halves can bow slightly and the drink can spit out of the gap. Lastly, they tend to be a lot more expensive than other shakers as they require much more precise construction. Cheap ones tend to be a poor investment too, lacking the build quality required for long-term use. The cobble pot. These three-piece strainers are not unlike the Manhattan, but they tend to be smaller and more compact. They come with a built-in strainer too, but the top tends to be smaller and stouter so you don't get that nasty bleed from the strainer when the top comes off. These are often seen in smaller bars or where drinks are being mixed with care, one at a time. The smaller amount of metal allows for maximum cooling, meaning as little of the heat from the container is transferred to the drink, meaning that less ice is likely to melt, meaning the drink is less diluted, which is the aim of every shake. Fast cooling and as little dilution as possible. But we'll get to that. Pros: fastest cooling, professional looking, and you get a nifty inbuilt strainer. Cons: these shakers run into the same problems as the Manhattans, and also tend to be small too, so mixing quantity is tough. That, and like the French Parisian, they always seem to be more expensive than their East Coast counterparts. There are some other types of shakers, and there are also the novelty sort, but these are likely to be the four that you come across in this world, and don't lack any quality that you'd find with another type. Strainers. Strainers, much like shakers, are something you'll see on every bar top from here to the moon and back. They're imperative for some drinks and play a vital role in proper pouring. And just like shakers, they come in several common varietals that each have their own merits, though perhaps not as impactful on the drinks as the shakers themselves. The Hawthorne. The Hawthorne strainer is often characterized by its four little arms and a handle. The basic construction sees a circular piece of metal with holes in it, lined by a spring that outsizes it, but not the arms. These strainers fit into the top of the can, and the spring forms a barrier through which the drink can flow, but ice and fruit cannot. The arms hold the strainer in place while the drink is poured. They also often come with a piece of metal bent upwards as a finger rest, allowing these strainers to be utilized with one hand. This is the most common type of strainer that you'll see on a bar top. The two-prong. The two-prong is very similar to the Hawthorne, except instead of having four arms, it has two, as well as the handle. This has no bearing on its performance as a strainer, but perhaps aesthetically it's a little more pleasing. The functionality, however, remains unchanged. The julep. The julep strainer is much like a martini glass in the sense that it was created for a single purpose, that being straining juleps. Juleps are characterized by their dished shape, as well as their lack of spring. They are the classic strainer, and originally when used in conjunction with a julep, they allowed the glass or can to be inverted fully in order to drain the drink. When pouring at an angle, the mint leaves can clog the bottom of the can and form a dam. The julep strainer solves this problem. Now, however, as design has come on, Hawthorns don't suffer this issue anymore, so the julep strainer has become more of a decorative or aesthetic piece than anything else. The fine strainer. Also known as a tea strainer. These fine mesh strainers are more often than not stainless steel. They're used in conjunction with a Hawthorne to strain out the tiny ice chunks that slip through the larger strainers. When creating something like a martini or Cosmo or anything else not on the rocks, having tiny ice shards floating around is displeasing to see. These strainers are a necessity at every bar and are the line between a good and a great cocktail a lot of the time. Other bar essentials. Twisted bar spoon. The twisted bar spoon is a common sight on any bar top. The long spoon is a great tool for scooping and adding ingredients to a drink, be it dried herbs, honey, marmalade, or anything else. Yes, I did say marmalade. Sound weird? Just you wait. This spoon, however, is not just a spoon. Coming usually with a flat top or a spatula top, these two differences serve different purposes. The flat top is used to muddle soft berries, fruit, or crushed leaves to release flavor. The spatula top is used for taking small dabs of salt, pepper, or anything else you'd only need a tenth of a thimbleful of. But as well as that, the twisted stem is designed to be poured down. This can be great for layered cocktails, as the twists prevent the liquid from accelerating into the drink. It takes some practice, but it can be done. These usages make the twisted spoon a great tool for the intrepid drink mixer. Muddlers. Muddlers come in all shapes and sizes and materials too, from wood to stainless steel to plastic. They all have their benefits. These tools are essential, however, for crushing limes, lemons, and anything else that needs muddling. Doing this can release juice, flavor, or just create texture generally. Flat-bottom muddlers are good for squashing softer things. but a churn bottom or a ridge muddler will let you twist and grind up even the toughest ingredients, like ginger. I love ginger, but a flat-bottom wooden muddler just doesn't cut it. Mexican elbow. The Mexican elbow or juicer is another essential. Often we'll see a jar full of halves of lemons and limes on a bar top, and that's because with a Mexican elbow on hand, you can pop a half in, squeeze the handles, and voila, a perfect juice piece of fruit. You can do it by hand, but this contraption will save lots of time and prevent carpal tunnel and RSI from setting in. My wrist clicks perpetually because I went 3 months without one of these. Tomato knife. Most bartenders use a paring knife, but that's probably because they don't know about a tomato knife. With soft serration and a lightweight construction, these knives glide through even the softest berries without squashing them. The gently serrated edge cuts into the skin of lemons and limes more easily than a flat edge, too, and you'll get a lot less slippage. And as any chef will tell you, a sharper knife is safer than a blunt one. Channel knife. The channel knife is a simple yet indispensable tool for the bartender who enjoys an elaborate garnish. This knife will let you pull the blade back through the skin of a fruit and draw off a long, thin strip. This is great for knotting around straws, curling off rims, or twisting around stirs and other garnishes. A personal favorite used to be a piece of lemon wrapped around a cherry. Peeler. Sometimes it's for garnish. Other times you'll need to strip the skin off of a piece of ginger or fruit before you muddle it. Whatever you're using it for, a peeler is a versatile and useful tool that no bar top should be without. Pestle and mortar. Though not often seen, the pestle and mortar is a great tool to have around. I always liked using mine to infuse flavor into things. A small chunk of lime gently crushed into mint leaves makes the fragrances from a mojito pop, and it also just looks a little more alchemical than clapping on a piece of basil before putting it into someone's drink. Bar measures. Spirit measures. Spirit measures are essential. Why? Because if you get caught over or under measuring drinks, you can get fined. A lot. They come in all sorts of sizes dependent on your local and national laws, i.e. 25 to 50 milliliters for the UK and 35 to 70 milliliters for the US based on a fluid ounce measure, not EU laws. However, there are some exceptions. Though you're supposed to serve spirits in specified measures, the law does allow for cocktails to be made using measures that are not multiples of singles or doubles, wherein and only wherein the specific measure of a spirit, outside of these multiples, is required to enhance the taste of a drink. I'm paraphrasing, but that's good news, right? Now, when we say spirits, what we actually mean is whiskey, vodka, brandy, and rum. Things like tequila, any other liqueurs or flavorants aren't subject to the weights and measures laws. Though this isn't a global blanket statement, so check your own laws, and they can be used in any quantities you like. Considering you can get around this law anyway by arguing taste, you're fine. But when it comes down to it, and again, take this from someone who's had experience doing the cost-price breakdown of drinks, working out margins, etc., you'll only really be wanting to put 2/3 measures in every drink, and sometimes less where required. Further to that, it's imperative to have a spirit measure because most cocktails require the base spirit to be in full measures. You'll likely begin most drinks with 25 milliliters of this or 50 milliliters of that, and then add everything else on top. And finally, if you're training yourself to free pour, i.e. not using a measure but still using 25 milliliters or 50 milliliters by way of counting, don't worry, we'll come back to it. You'll need to have something to practice with, won't you? So in other words, get them. Jigger. A jigger is a type of spirit measure that's conical on both sides. One end has a double measure and the other has a single. A lot of drinks require, say, 35 milliliters of whiskey and 15 milliliters of brandy, or 50 milliliters of vodka and 25 milliliters of lemon juice. And what the jigger does is allows you to invert the measure to accommodate both without having to put down one measure and pick up another. They're cheap enough to buy and they're a staple for all decent cocktail bars. They can be finicky to use to begin with, but once you get the hang of them, they are a lifesaver. Glassware. Stemmed. Martini. Perhaps the quintessential cocktail glass. The martini glass is defined by its triangular shape. They commonly come in sizes between 150 milliliters, 5 ounces, and 300 milliliters, 10 ounces, and are popular choices for drinks like martinis, cosmopolitans, Manhattans, and any other spirit-heavy drink that comes sans ice. Champagne saucer. Coupe. In recent years, the champagne saucer or coupe glass is taking precedence over the classic martini glass. They come in similar sizes to the martini glass and in a variety of styles and designs. Its less iconic but perhaps more aesthetically pleasing shape gives the same effect to drinks as the martini and only changes the way the drink looks. These glasses were originally developed specifically to allow champagne to keep its fizz longer before the days of pressurized corking. Now their prettiness has allowed them to live beyond their functional purpose, and a lot of speakeasy Shoreditch-style bars use them for their vintage styling. Flute. Having replaced the saucer coupe, the flute is a narrow stem glass that is used for either the service of champagnes, sparkling wines, or for cocktails containing them. Its distinct shape is instantly recognizable, and the length of drink of show is attractive when combined with the thin strings of bubbles sparkling wines are famous for. Coming in sizes anywhere from 125 milliliter 4-ounce to 250 milliliter 8-ounce, these glasses are used for a wide range of fizzy cocktails. Wine. The standard wine glass was once only used for its namesake, but nowadays the larger volume presented along with a host of attractive and modern designs have caught the eyes of intrepid mixologists. So now it's not uncommon to see a cocktail come in one of these, especially one which utilizes wine as a base or ingredient. In the UK, the standard sizes are 175 milliliters 5.5 ounces and 250 milliliters 8 ounces, but larger and smaller glasses aren't uncommon. Some large glasses can facilitate up to 750 milliliters, 24 ounces, though when stocked up with ice, they probably won't house an entire bottle of wine, despite being able to. Hurricane. The classic hurricane glass is characterized by its short stem and long curving shape. This tropical-looking glass is a common sight on beaches and is the go-to for anything tropical in nature. You'll see everything from the pina colada to the Mai Tai come in one of these, and they can range from a modest 175 milliliters, 5.5 ounces, up to a monstrous 500 milliliters, 16 ounces, and in some cases, even beyond that. Margarita. Taking a lot of its shape from the coupe and martini glasses, this glass is defined by its curved shape and the small bulb at the top of the stem. Coming in sizes anywhere from 150 milliliters, 5 ounce, to 300 milliliters, 10 ounce, these glasses are used mainly for their namesake or similar drinks, often identifiable by a salted or sugared rim. Sling. The sling glass is not unlike the hurricane, but it will likely feature a straight-cut shape rather than a curve. Again, these glasses are available in a variety of sizes, but the range will probably be from 175 milliliters, 5.5 ounces, to 500 milliliters, 16 ounces. The gin sling, Singapore sling, and San Francisco sling are common sights, with these glasses, as the bright, deep hues displayed, are benefited from the generous real estate shown off by the shape of these glasses. Balloon. The balloon or gin glass is instantly recognizable by its large round shape. While most European bars use these glasses to serve gin and tonics, bartenders are now utilizing their sheer volume to accommodate heavily built drinks that require a lot of ingredients to work. They can come as small as 300 milliliters, 10 ounce, and range up to 800 milliliters, 26 ounce. Brandy. Much like the balloon, these glasses are characterized by their round shape and semi-closed top. The traditional method of decanting in the glass sees a dram poured in and then the glass laid on its side. The glass is then rolled along the table to coat the inside with the spirit, allowing it to breathe and fill the glass with the aroma for a greater olfactory sensation during imbibing. Common sizes range from a modest 200 milliliters, 6 ounce, up to 400 milliliters, 12 ounces, though somewhere in the middle is most common. Sherry. Sherry glasses are a mixture between a wine, martini, and aperitif glass. Their modest size and straight edges make for comfortable drinking. Not especially common these days, they've made a comeback in the cocktail world, being used for raw, small drinks that are heavy on spirits. They can be as small as 75 milliliters, 2.5 ounce, and as large as 150 milliliter, 5 ounce, though any larger is uncommon for a classic sherry glass. Beer. The stemmed beer glass is easy to spot, having a short stem and an angular yet curved shape. These glasses usually come in 300 milliliter, 10.5 ounce to accommodate a half pint, in 350 milliliter 12 ounce to accommodate a standard beer bottle, or in 568 milliliter 20 ounce for a pint size. While not a common sight when it comes to cocktails, I'll be going over some great beer cocktails that can realistically only be served in one of these glasses, for best results at least. Aperitif, digestif, liqueur. Much like the sherry glass, these niche vessels are tall with a long stem and a small volume. Basically a posh shot glass. These things are usually 50 milliliters, 1.75 ounces, 75 milliliters, 2.5 ounces, or 100 milliliters, 3.5 ounces, and are a rare sight. I was, however, served a flaming shot in one this year, so they are around if you look hard enough. Non-stemmed. Old-fashioned, double old-fashioned. A very versatile glass. The old-fashioned is technically a tumbler and can be as small as 150 milliliters, 5 ounce, right up to 400 milliliter, 12 ounce, though seeing them that large is rare. These glasses are utilized for everything from their namesake to fruity concoctions and everything in between. While all bars stock them in some form, few take the time to choose them pragmatically, and often lose out by having one size and not being able to effectively mix the right drink for the right glass. Classic tumbler. The classic cut-side cone-shaped tumbler is a common sight in the Americas and is often used for serving whiskey. They can be as small as 150 milliliters, 5 ounce, and as large as around 250 milliliters, 8 ounce, though any larger and they turn into a strange highball-style glass. These glasses are tough and are a popular choice for mixers as well as cocktails. Highball. The highball is a common sight right across the world and is the name given to any flat-bottom glass that's too tall to be a tumbler. They can come with cut sides, straight sides, convex sides, or concave sides, and are a great all-rounder if investing in specialized glasses isn't feasible. They come in a variety of heights and volumes and are a necessity for any bar. Common sizes range from between 200 milliliter, 6 ounce, up to around 500 milliliter, 16 ounce. Shot. Shooter. The shot and shooter are self-explanatory. Shot glasses come in either 25 milliliter, 0.7 ounce, or 35 milliliter, 1 ounce, depending on where you are in the world and who makes the glasses. And shooters come in either 50 milliliter, 1.5 ounce, or 60 milliliter, 2 ounce for the same reason. The former is shorter but can be any shape, and the latter is a taller version of and is used for layered shots or just hardcore drinkers who like a double. Mug. The mug is a great vessel and has become very popular in recent years. Often made from ceramic, enamel, copper, brass, or any other substance, these stout, stylish cups have been reinvented by the speakeasy shortage vibe that's sweeping the cocktail world. They come in sizes ranging from around 200 milliliter, 6 ounce, right up to 400 milliliter, 12 ounce. Though with more and more producers coming to the market every day, seeing new products outside these ranges isn't uncommon. Pilsner, beer. The classic flat-bottom beer glass is something that you'll see on every bar top, encompassing the Pilsner glass, a narrow, concave affair, as well as the classic pint glass, with its Coke bottle shape. These glasses don't have much to do with cocktail heritage, but they're gaining popularity these days, as the worlds of fermentation and distillation grow even more entwined.